are here for Cobra Kai season 4,
See,
episode 2.
episode
It's
two.
easy for us to screw this up. Episode 2 discussion is what we're up to here. The troll and the voice of reason. Oh my God, it's karate time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Listen, I got a question. When we last saw everybody in episode 1, season 4, episode 1, uh, Kreese had told Terry to thank Cheyenne for him for the tofu.
Yeah.
In this episode, Terry never thanked Cheyenne.
Oh my God, it's a plot hole.
Do you think it happened off screen? Do you think they're just trying to keep the focus off Terry entirely this episode?
I think only you would think of this.
It concerns me a lot, and we also didn't get Cutter in this episode.
Oh my God.
And I'm still trying to find out, was his bar tab paid? Was it not paid? Because this has been bothering me for
we've got to let it go, Troll.
a whole season now.
Yeah,
All
we've
right,
got to
yeah.
let Cutter go.
A lot of good stuff happened here. Let's talk about, there's so much shit here. Amanda and Tori mixing it up.
Yeah.
That is fresh. That is a very unique idea that I did not see coming.
Yeah, there was a confrontation.
A couple. Putting those two together, Amanda stopping into Tori's job, getting her promptly fired in less than a minute.
Yeah.
Do you think, in all honesty, about that scene, though, there's something that's kind of lingering with me.
What's that?
Do you think the cook really dipped his balls in the miso? Because I'm thinking about it. Why would a cook do that?
What?
Cooks are busy, and the soup is usually more in front. It's not really on the chef's line.
And it's hot.
Yeah. So why would you dip your balls in the soup? I don't think that happened. I think Tori made that up.
That might have been a Tory-ism.
I don't have trouble with her statement that the restaurant got a B.
Yeah.
And that they're hiding the B. That's not made up. I mean, you could find that out really quickly and easily.
Yeah.
But I don't think his balls were dipped in the miso,
That might have been misinformation.
That might have happened in the baked potato soup.
Ooh.
That we found out. Well, that's a different episode, isn't it? So we can't talk about that because then we're
never
spoiling.
mind.
All right, I'll shut the fuck up. We'll talk about that when we get to it later. All right, so lots of good stuff going on here. The Tori and Amanda thing I think is super interesting. It stays interesting after this episode as well, but without spoiling anything else. I really like that Amanda confronted her, and I think that makes sense considering the LaRussos decided not to go to the police.
Right.
That at least she's going to feel the need to do something and to confront Tori in some way.
Yeah, she can't help herself.
No, and then she's up
not
bringing
afraid
her.
to confront any of those Cobra Kai people.
She's not afraid. Well, you know what quote she lives by, that Amanda.
Yeah.
Amanda has always said a human's response to danger is fight or flight, but an eagle's response to danger is fight and flight.
That wasn't Amanda.
I know, but that's one of my favorite lines. And I'm thinking Amanda lives by that because look what she did. She came.
She's a fighter.
She got Tori fired, and then I think in the same day it looks like, then she went and brought her groceries and dropped them off at her door. I don't know how she found out where she lived.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's something that she lives by.
Yeah. She's pretty critical of Daniel and the whole karate thing, but she does not back down either.
She does not.
I mean, there's that.
There is that. Well, listen, let's talk about the sweetest kid ever, Kenny, being introduced.
Oh my God.
Kenny's the greatest. This actor was great. As usual, this show really casts very, very well.
They really do.
They made me like Kenny. And I've said this before, the show moves very quickly. They made me really care about Kenny in, I don't know, 90 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They did such a good job of showing him he's kind of dancing and he's like this kind of sweet kid, right? He just seems so sweet. You don't need to see him interact with other people very much to see that the actor's great. What can you tell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just that good where you could tell by the look on his face and his movements and everything that he's a very sweet kid who's lonely and he's with this new place. So we did the video a little while ago on characters I want to set on fire. That was prior to season 4. Had this season been out, Anthony Lapusso and that goofy little blonde friend of his who thinks he's God's gift to fucking West Valley High, those two would have been
junior high.
Yeah, that's right. They're not even in high school yet. They're in middle school still. Yeah. Those two would have gladly made the list, those motherfuckers. Are you really? I mean, I know they're just kids and all that, and kids make mistakes, but don't you want to set these two on fire for what they did to Kenny?
I don't. No, I don't want to set people on fire. But, I mean...
Personality deficit.
that blonde-haired, curly-haired kid is a real pain in the ass.
They're cyberbullying Kenny. It was bad enough, the little episode that happened on the bus.
And he's instigating Anthony.
The blonde kid,
yeah.
yeah, totally instigating Anthony. But Anthony's also going along with a lot of it pretty gleefully. He's not really. He's only a couple of times is he kind of slowing down and not really wanting to participate too much.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough strength of character yet to,
No.
to put his foot down and say no.
What an asshole, in the words of Miguel.
Yeah.
And the cyberbullying was just so look, it's funny, but it's sad because Kenny's a sweet kid.
Yeah.
It's only funny if you're doing it to a guy who really deserves it. I'll tell you, in high school, we didn't have this kind of cyberbullying thing, but I do remember writing a couple of notes to a kid and leaving it in his locker and pretending to be from a girl. So I kind of did this, but the kid I did it to was a fucking prick. That's the difference. The kid I did it to was an absolute jackass who was an asshole to people. So
we had very different lives.
We did. We had very different lives. Now they're very similar. We watched a lot of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
But back then very different. So I think the cyberbullying was really sad. It really just broke my heart to see them abusing Kenny and then physically abusing him too.
Yeah.
Kenny shows up at the park. One minute he thinks he's going to be on a date and like at a party with a bunch of cool people that are like-minded. He thinks his life's about to get great.
Yeah.
A minute later, he's hiding from kids and running from kids. And oh my God, he had to hide in the trash and shit.
Yeah, that broke my heart.
Oh, think how great Kenny's life would have been if this was all real. If it actually was Leah, right? That was there and they would have had a great time and it would have been so nice. So,
yeah.
Oh my God, I really feel bad for Kenny. And all I could think was, the show was introducing him, and I thought, do we need new characters? We barely have time. Like they got rid of Aisha, supposedly because they didn't have time for her in season 3. They said there was nowhere to put her, and they had too much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But now here we are introducing new characters. So I feel like, well, what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, Kenny was so good. I'm really glad they have him.
Yeah, I really love that character, and they did need some way to move Anthony's character along.
Yeah, it's true. I guess you had to introduce somebody if you're gonna. I mean, if you're gonna have Anthony being in the show now, which does make sense, then he's got to have people in his life, and therefore you got to crowbar in somebody like Kenny.
Yeah.
And Kenny's gonna fit in other ways with Cobra Kai and everything he's got going on.
Yep.
I love this episode. I thought this was brilliant. It really pulled on my heartstrings about Kenny a lot. At the same time, it made me just want to smack fucking Anthony LaRusso around.
Yeah.
I'll do a crane kick on him.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Little bastard picking on him like this. Here's something I don't get. Johnny's life was just saved by Daniel at the end of season 3. So Daniel saves his life with karate.
Pretty much.
And now Johnny's shitting on Miyagi-Do and the whole thing. Don't they think by now they'd be past some of this?
Yeah, these two shitting on each other's they're each other's karate really is. I can't believe that neither one of them is getting a clue.
Eagles don't get shit on. Eagles do the shitting. I can quote Johnny through this whole 15-minute video.
He's got the best line.
He's got so much. There's no shorty. He had great lines in season 1.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, is he really going to stay that funny? He's gotten better. They got more and more great lines with each subsequent season. Anyway, just very good shit. I don't believe, though, that Johnny would be this. In real life, at least there'd be some conversation. There barely was any conversation at all about the fact that Daniel has saved Johnny's life and that Johnny doesn't seem to give a shit about Daniel or about anything going on here. He's just kind of back to his old ways after that. I really would prefer, this is my complaint about these first 2 episodes, I really would prefer that they didn't detach so much from the ending of season 3.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's exactly what it feels like.
I feel so far removed from everything in season 3. I really do.
There's been just a total disconnect between the end of season 3 and the very first episode of season 4.
And honestly, not to go down a tangent here, we're going to stick on this episode, but quickly, they do this a lot on this show. I mean, remember at the end of season 2, Kreese threw Johnny out of there. Out of the dojo. You know what it's called, the dojo. Out of the dojo. And then by season 3, Kreese was trying to seduce him back. And he kept saying,
make up your mind,
he's like, you got to stay with us, John.
God.
And he's even kind of doing a little bit of that now. Well, yeah, he does in this season as well. So I feel like, what is going on? I understand that they had to retcon some stuff from the movies. And I know, I heard you guys. I agree with the voice of reason here that they did not retcon the very ending of Karate Kid 1. I agree. But I know there's light retcons about the move from the movies to the show. I get it. That has to happen a little bit just to have the show. But there shouldn't be retconning going on inside the show itself.
Yeah.
Right? With it, like from season 2 to 3, we shouldn't be retconning stuff. And yet I feel like there's quite a bit of that. And even from season 3 to 4, maybe it's not a retcon, but I think it's very strange that Daniel just saved Johnny's life.
Yeah, they can't have that short of a memory.
No,
Both of them.
and also, and we'll talk about it another in one of the later episodes. But there's some other retconning going on too that's also a
We
little
still
weird.
remember it.
We know. So look, we're not going to bitch about the show. It's the greatest show. But,
Yeah, we love it.
The love triangle going on here with Anthony and Kenny. And now I love that her name is Leah.
Leah.
Did you guys notice that? Leah,
Yeah.
Lia, and not Ali, like Allie. That's so funny that they were able to just twist the letters around. Great. I think that girl is going to be a really good love interest for them.
Aw.
And I think this will go on for a while. I don't think their story is going to end until the show eventually ends. Which is no time soon, guys. Stop with all the bullshit about how it's going to end in season 6. No, it's not. Come on. There's too much stuff going on. They're not ending in season 6.
Don't ruin Troll's bubble.
I mean, 5 is already done, and there's no talk about an ending. No, we're going on for a while here. How about Robbie teaching Miyagi-Do
Yeah.
to all those criminals at Cobra Kai?
The betrayal.
What a betrayal. And I don't blame them because they've all shit all over Robbie. I might be the most sympathetic person to Robbie.
Yeah.
You know, nobody else seems to care. They kind of think he's gone to the dark side. I don't think he's done that at all. He just knows that that's the place to be, to continue his learning and to kind of get some of his anger out. And he doesn't trust anybody. I think that's the way to do it. But yeah, very good shit. Daniel being so condescending. We kind of talked about this already, but Daniel being condescending as fuck to Johnny.
That's pretty consistent.
It's so consistent. I do love when Daniel shows up for his Eagle Fang training and he knocks on the door and he goes, "Johnny, I'm here for my Eagle Fang training," which sounds as stupid as I thought it would.
Out loud.
I know. He says as dumb out loud as it did in my head.
Yeah.
That's fucking hysterical. Do you realize something? When in the first episode of the season, when Johnny and Daniel met, well, Daniel came over to Johnny's. Remember that? He brought that 6-pack of Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
So that was a sweet thing. But do you realize that they were supposed to hash things out over that 6-pack?
Yeah.
And instead, within 2 sips,
Yes.
before Daniel even really cracked his beer open, they had already decided this wasn't going to work.
Yep.
He should have brought like a shot of beer and been like, "This is
Exactly.
all it's going to take to get somewhere." I just think that's kind of funny. But that's when the real condescending nature of like Daniel toward the Eagle Fang name and toward Johnny's whole thing really started getting ugly.
He never knows when to quit.
No. And he certainly didn't quit any time in this episode.
No.
Daniel was a prick the whole time. But the show likes to have its cake and eat it too. And they did that with Daniel's training scene. When Daniel had to learn Eagle Fang, he, for the most part, was kind of shitting on it. But then again, he was kind of involved in it. And then it ended with Daniel climbing up that, that chain. Yeah. And then he goes, "Yeah." So he did kind of, it's weird. They seem to want to show you that on one hand, they want to celebrate the masculinity of it, which we don't get a lot of from Daniel. And then on the other hand, they also want to make sure that Daniel still shits on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they ended up at the hockey thing. Oh my Lord, the hockey was the fucking greatest.
Daniel struck first.
Seeing Daniel strike first like this. This is again the kind of fan fiction that my friends and I would talk about in high school. We're like what if like Daniel, like if someone wants to like fuck his wife one day, like that's when he'll throw a punch. When they start talking about banging Amanda, and Daniel goes, "Okay, guys, easy. That's fine." Daniel thinks he's going to work in a civilized world, right?
Yeah.
Daniel thinks people are more civilized than they are. Johnny thinks people are more trash than they are, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of like you and me. You're kind of Daniel in this way. I'm more Johnny because I think everyone's a shithead. You seem to think that like people aren't so bad. It's not so bad. Give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
which ironically, I'm more team Johnny and you're more team Daniel.
I know.
So what is going on with us?
Who the fuck knows? Anyway, very good shit. Johnny, the Eagle thing, the hockey thing was amazing. That fight was the best. Daniel didn't just strike first. He actually took a fucking
hockey stick.
Yeah, he took the hockey stick. He broke it over that dude's back. He beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
I was dying through the whole thing. I was absolutely laughing because I could tell this wasn't going to be a plot point. Maybe a little, but for the most part, it wasn't really an important thing. It was just, let's have a laugh at the fact that the Karate Kid, for all his virtue, is in a fucking hockey ring after having some beers, beating the piss out of some guys.
Yeah.
He got so into Johnny's world. And then he's like, "Where were you?" And Johnny just says, "No, be there."
That was the best.
Brilliant. Absolutely
best.
Brilliant. I love it so much. Oh my God. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe and click the bell icon and all that other shit so you get more of our terrible videos later. We're going to have a video for every single episode. One final note. How cool is it that Johnny, just like Robbie before him, have turned to Daniel in their training and said, "When am I going to use this in a real fight?"
Right?
They both say it on the koi pond. I think that's really cool that Johnny harkened back to Robbie. Anyway, that's my final thought. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one.